If you are an accountant and you want to get more clients for your accounting firm using Facebook and Instagram ads, then this video is exactly what you need. In the last 5 years, I've spent over $500,000 on Facebook ads specifically for accountants. In this video, I'm going to give you an updated version on how you can get accounting, tax, bookkeeping, and even fractional CFO clients for your firm. So I will share my screen and let's dive in right now. Okay, so we are in a live ad account from a client of mine, and I'm going to show you literally everything. Okay, this is an actual campaign that is live, as you can see over here, and I'm going to give you all of the strategies, how we actually changed our strategy in the last couple of months so that you can actually make the most money from your Facebook and Instagram ads. Okay, so you can see with this campaign we spent, if we do max, so 2200. Cost per lead is about $56. This is quite high, but what we are actually doing right now, we are using instant forms with a lot of qualification. So I made a video on my YouTube channel earlier about that I absolutely hated Facebook ads because the lead quality was very, very low. Just people that didn't know they opted in, people that didn't even own a business, and that were then saying that we were then harassing them because we were calling them and they didn't even know that this was actually like just a form fill. So I then used Google Ads before and it worked really well. But the thing is, with Google Ads, you will also get a lot of people that are not business owners and you still pay a lot of money for the clicks. So what we were doing or are doing now is using instant forms. So over here you see the ad of a client of ours, and this is the instant form. Now we always ask for the yearly revenue simply because we don't really want to talk to businesses that do below 250,000 a year. If they are above 250, that's totally fine. We can still take them on. Like, you can take them on as a just basic compliance client, and then if you are doing a good job, you can give them some advice and hopefully they grow and you can then transition them into more of an advisory client. So this is something that you always want to use. You don't want to add no friction at all. If you use a lead form, or it's called an instant form right now, what is going to happen is that if you don't add any friction at all, so you just let everyone fill in the form and you just let everyone basically give the data to Meta and optimize for these types of people that fill in the forms, then your lead quality will be very low. So you need to add a little bit of friction. What we do, we always ask this question here, and if they don't make enough money, we make it conditional logic that they are not able to fill in the form. Then they need to answer the basic email, name, phone, but also company name. And then over here, they need to verify the phone number and just really double confirm that they actually want to submit the form, right? This verifying over here, your cost per lead is going to increase quite a lot, right? You can have cost per leads of like $6, but then the majority of them are not in your niche or business owner, not even interested in your services. And what will then happen is that you are going to get a lot of leads that are not interested, but the algorithm is going to optimize for these form fills, right? Because you tell them, I want to have the cheapest cost per lead. So it's going to serve the ads to people that are most likely to fill in the form. If you let everyone fill in the form, regardless of if they verify their phone number, if they give you the amount of revenue that they do per year, what's going to happen is that a lot of people that don't make a lot of money, that cannot even afford your services, are going to submit the form, and then Meta is going to optimize for these types of people. So what we do, so this campaign is tailored to logistic companies. We ask for revenue, we let them also give their company name, and they need to verify their phone number. Now, company owners from logistic companies, they are a little bit more tech savvy than, for example, a plumber, right? Because with company like logistic company owners, they are probably working with complicated CRM systems and they are probably behind their computer all day. A plumber, it's not that the plumber is less smart, but they are smarter in more hands-on stuff. So with a plumber, what you probably don't want to do is do not do the verification. You can try it out though, but you actually want to then, instead of have one qualifying question here, put like 4 or 5 in them with at least 2 of them disqualifying. So you can ask for revenue, how many employees do you have, how many For example, in the trucking space, how many trucks do you have? You can ask what type of services are you looking for? What is your entity? If you ask those types of questions, it takes quite some effort to answer them. So someone that is going to fill in the form by accident is going to think, wait, what am I even filling in here? I clicked on this because the creative was nice, and now I have to answer all those questions. I'm going to stop and I'm going to continue with my day. So yeah, you need to add quite some questions in here, and you need to feedback quality data. If you are doing this and you still get leads that are not really qualified, what you then need to do is you need to work with the conversion API. So I didn't set this up in this account, but we are doing this for other clients. You just have to just quickly look for it on YouTube or Google. Setting up conversion API, especially if you use high level, is extremely easy. And you can essentially just tell Meta, this lead was qualified, this one was not. This lead booked the meeting, this one not. And by doing this, the algorithm is going to get smarter and smarter and smarter. Now, you did see earlier, we have a cost per lead of like $56. It's quite high, but our booking rate from those leads is above 30%. So it's about like $150 per lead. Now, that's pretty decent. But the question is, how are those leads? Are those actually qualified? So let me show you high level here. So right now we are in high level. I don't want to share all of the lead information, the information from the client, of course, but you can see this company owner over here is making 5 million plus. Then another over here is making 1 to 5 million. Then another over here, 5 million plus. And last but not least, 2.5 to 1 million. Okay. So you see that those leads are pretty qualified, right? They have the money to pay a premium. Now the question is, okay, you now have instant forms. You can get the lead in a CRM like high level, which I recommend. How do you actually get the leads, right? You have to get good copy, good creatives. So recently there has been an update called Andromeda. Andromeda is basically just a regular update from Meta, but it did have quite a big impact on the ads. So before we were always using ugly ads, and I will actually say that these ads over here are still ugly, right? They basically, it's not a professional photo or something like that. The reason why this does still work is because the algorithm, we always use broad targeting. So we don't have any targeting at all. We just target the whole US. You want to niche down with your ads. But with the targeting, it's based on the creative itself. So of course we call out logistic companies over here, but this color is actually also a frequently used color in the logistical space, right? Then this figure over here, this kind of like person, it's also a typical logistic company owner, right? With a package, little head on. This creative over here is also working really well. Let me quickly scroll over here so you can see it. So you can see it's like a gas tank, right? Which is of course frequently used in the logistical space. So these are the two creatives that are working really well because the AI targeting from Meta really knows, okay, this is for this specific person, right? So we have the offer, we will beat your accountant or you don't pay. You need a great offer. If you are going to say, just get a free consultation, it can still work, but you have to get really good angles. Okay, so with creatives, make it extremely clear that this is for the specific industry. More on that later on in the video. That is why I have my Canva and ChatGPT open. But then in terms of the copy, you need to pick a specific angle. So in terms of copy, you always want to have a specific angle that you are going to talk about, right? So for logistic companies, it can be not having enough cash flow. It can be a surprise tax bill or not knowing what your profit even is. So what you can do, how you can structure your campaign, it's just one campaign, one ad set, one ad, a DCT ad, dynamic creative testing ad. And then in your one ad, you have multiple creatives and multiple copies, okay? You can literally just use this, take the principles. So you can see it's all pretty much tailored to the industry. So over here, logistic company owners, you fix the logistics, we fix your taxes and books, and then simply with the offer. This is just a very generic angle, right? It's just, okay, I know that I need to fix my taxes and books. This ad is pretty much saying that I need, let me take a look, right? That works. It's very a short copy. This is more of the people that are very problem aware. there are also people that are not problem aware, and that basically know in the back of their mind, yeah, my taxes and accounting, it's probably not optimized, but I don't care that much. The people that are in that kind of stage of awareness, they don't really resonate with this because they are not really aware of the problem. But with a company like this over here, but with a copy actually like this over here we go more in depth about, oh, why do you maybe want to replace your accountant, right? So we are going to talk about, do you want to see if we can beat your accountant? We take over everything, the reporting, but also over here, like build for logistics. So we fix your cash flow gaps, we clean up the numbers, and we make sure you don't get any tax surprises. So this angle over here is, okay, you have an accountant, but if you are still experiencing cash flow gaps, you don't have clear numbers, or you sometimes do have a higher tax bill, then we are specific to logistics companies and you will not have that problem with us. So with the people that are not really problem aware, they say, okay, I have an accountant already. Sure, like sometimes I have a little bit of a cash flow issue, but they're not aware that if they have a good accountant, the accountant can actually solve their problem. Well, by us actually putting this ad in front of them, right, they see something like this over here. They think, okay, well, this is for me. Okay, yeah, you know what, actually, I resonate with this, and I have an account already. Let me take a look at the copy. This is what is going to stop them from scrolling. Then they read something like this and they think, hey, I have an accountant, but I still have cash flow issues. I still have my numbers that are a little bit of a mess sometimes. And I do sometimes get a bigger tax bill than I actually expected. That is going to really resonate with the people that are not actively looking, but then actually they think, you know what, I do need someone that can actually do this for me. So you need to get different angles, and then the algorithm is going to serve the copy combined with the right creative to the person that actually needs to see this creative. You can also make ones only talking about lowering their tax bill, one only talking about having more cash flow. You just need to have a lot of variation and different types. So then the question is, okay, writing copy, it's not that difficult, right? But how do you actually get good creative? So we have different creatives over here in my Canva. You can see we have creatives that are a little bit more realistic, like this one or this one over here. And we have the ugly style ads, like this one or this one over here. And making those creatives is extremely easy. So what you want to do, just get a Canva account, it's free, and make a couple of variations for yourself. So think about, what do I want to get across in my ad? So you picked your niche. What are you actually going to sell? And what is the pain point of my prospect, right? So let's pick the plumbing space. So create a meta ad where a plumber is stressed and holding lots of messy books. Okay, so this is then going to create an ad, and you just need to make sure that if you look at it without text, that you can understand it. Okay, so I will just say create it. And if someone, look, the algorithm is going to actually analyze this creative, and the algorithm is then going to decide, who am I going to serve this ad to? So the algorithm is so smart that it knows, okay, this plumber over here is probably someone that has messy books. This plumber over here is probably someone that has a high tax bill. Although that they are in the same industry, someone with a very high tax bill is probably earning a little bit more, and someone with messy books probably doesn't have an accountant yet, or has an accountant which is not doing a very good job. So then you get an like a creative like this. You want to make it very clear, so I just say remove the text, just show the plumber. Okay, now while this is working, I will actually make another one. Create a meta ads creative of a plumber working during a plumbing job, looking at a piece of paper which is saying something like tax bill $50,000. and then the plumber looks stressed. So you have different creatives for different angles. Now, okay, so you can see him over here stressed. Then you make it the right format. So make it a, I think it's like a, let me quickly look at the sizing. So you want to make it this size. So you can see same principle over here. So you want to size this a 10, 18, 19, 20 with the plumber in a 1-1. So you want to do it like this because then in stories and reels it's just the right size, but then in the feed it also shows the right size. Copy this, and then I already, yeah, perfect. So you can see over here, like if this is on your feed as a plumber, you recognize this, and then you see tax bill 50K. You think, oh, actually, I recognize this because I think my tax bill is quite high too. And not only it gets the message across to the person that is actually seeing the ad, the algorithm also knows exactly what you are trying to do. Because the algorithm is so smart. Of course, they know if you own a plumbing business or a construction business or whatever industry you are in, because you literally most of the time talk about it in your, like the posts that you make, the content you consume, but you literally sometimes also have it on your profile. I own Smith Construction, for example. So they know already what type of company you have, but with the new AI, they know most likely what type of problem you have. So for example, if you as an accountant want to target smaller companies that are just starting out, then the AI is probably going to take a look. This person launched a business like 2 years ago. Person is not visiting locations where they sell like Bentleys or expensive items, and the person is not going on a holiday 5 times a year. So this person is probably a starting business. If you really want to target more wealthier people in an industry, then the algorithm is going to look at, okay, this person visited Bali 3 times this year, visited the auto car dealership where they sell expensive cars. This person probably is a little bit more wealthy, right? So that's kind of how the algorithm works. So let's take a look. Then also what you want to do, make it a bit more colorful for the meta feed. Let's see what's coming up with. Okay. This is quite busy. Like a lot of stuff's going on here. So I will say make it colorful and remove some papers and change them for papers that say unpaid invoice, stuff like that. Okay, so you need to think like it needs to be very simple, because you have to realize that someone that is going to consume your ad needs to understand it within a second. Because they're literally watching reels about kittens and stuff like that, not very high IQ activity. And if they then see a very complex creative, it's too big of a gap they need to bridge. So you need to make it extremely easy to look at it for a couple seconds and think, hey, shoot, I have a very big tax bill. So you see this actually did quite a good job. If you scroll, just let's say that this is your meta feed. If you are scrolling, what is stopping you, right? What is going to stop you from scrolling? This one, because this one doesn't have that many, it's not that colorful, okay? So I will literally just use this one. What you can do is you can download it and then put it into Canva, and then you can just put some text on it, like plumbers, you shouldn't be stressed about your tax bill. Or over here, plumbers, you shouldn't be stressed about cash flow, right? Something like that. So cash flow, taxes, right? This is honestly that this is a really good creative. So the great thing is once you have created these creatives and you are launching them, and they have at least a 1% click-through rate, that's the bare minimum. If you see that, for example, this one with cash flow is working really well, then you want to really double down on it. So let's say your cost per lead is like $40 with the strategy that we use with this creative here. this angle rather, like stressing about cash flow, and you see, okay, well, the plumber with the tax bill, it's still generating revenue, but I want to double down on the cash flow one. Then what you do, you in here, you just make a second ad set called cash flow, and then you double down. So then let me quickly think, show this plumber on site, or actually show this plumber trying to pay for payroll, and the PC says payment declined because not enough cash flow. So of course it's not going to say not enough cash flow, it's probably going to say insufficient funds or something like that. But again, you want to make it as easy for people to understand as possible. And the typical plumber, or typically in the construction space, the cash flow is a little bit of an issue sometimes. If you work with e-com companies, for example, what you can do is create an e-com company owner trying to run meta ads, and then the computer is saying cannot run ads because no cash flow, something like that. That's something that they are scared about. So you really want to dive into the mind of the person that is seeing your ads. And you want to make it as simple as possible for the person actually consuming the ad, but also for Meta, so that they know, okay, this is for a plumber. Like they cannot miss it. It's saying plumber, they're doing plumbing work with plumbing tools, right? But also the angle tax bill, $50,000. Like the angle is also very easy to understand. So let's see over here. Of course, you need to spend a little bit of time going back and forth with ChatGPT to say, put this on the screen, but I will not really waste your time here because you probably know how to do that. Best thing, by the way, is to edit the prompt here instead of going back and forth in text. So then you just click here and you say, show it on the screen. So yeah, that is the strategy that we use. Quick tip, if you are going to create ads like this, first of all, they work. You can like see that we have been running this for quite a while and it's performing fine. Our click-through rate even is quite low, like really low actually. But the reason I'm not going to make any changes is because we are making money from it. This specific client, like a few days ago, closed a 7.5K cleanup as well as $750 per month for ongoing work, and it's probably going to increase because the business has quite some potential. So yeah, if you take this approach, you need to have a good nurturing system. What you want to do, call the leads within preferably 30 seconds to book them in. A big benefit of this strategy over here is that you are able to not overwork yourself when calling leads. If you allow everyone to submit forms, you are going to get like 10 times the leads, but you also need to do 10 times the calls, the emails, and the SMSs. So call them within 30 seconds, SMS message immediately, email immediately. You can even, if you have the business name and if you have the full name, add them on Facebook, LinkedIn, email them yourself. You just have to do a little bit of effort to actually book them in. But again, once you book them in and you have a client that is making like 5 million a year and you are doing a better job than the accountant, that's what the new client is going to do. It's going to tell all his friends in the same industry, I have this accountant specific to all your guys' niches and he is doing a better job than my current accountant, right? So that's basically the updated strategy. Really hope it was valuable. If you are an accountant, you want to get some help with getting clients, then you can click on the link in the description to book a time with me or someone from my team where you just answer all your questions, basically a free growth session. And full transparency, if we think that you are a good fit, we will tell you a little bit more about what it is that we do, which is basically helping accountants get more clients. And if we don't succeed, you don't pay. So yeah, just quick video. Hope it was helpful. Do the liking, subscribing thing if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video.